Hey, Commissioner Aguilar, I think we are on.
We're alive. Okay.
So let's. I think we're ready to go. We've had some technical difficulties with your new background, so we're just going to keep our fingers crossed that it stays up.
Hope so.
We'll be visited by Cecilia in the background there, who's helping us with our set. But would you like to welcome everybody to the show today?
Very good. But I want to make it up. I had a fifth guest. Cook County Clerk Erie's Iris Martinez couldn't join us today. She had a family emergency, so I'd like to ask you just keep her in your prayers, and a little rough time. Al principio tenemos a la clerk de la Corte de Cook County, a Iris Martínez, pero no pudo acompañarnos hoy en la noche porque tuvo una emergencia de familia y les pido que la tengan en oración cuando piensen en ella. Okay, gracias por tenernos again. Thank you for being here. Welcome everybody to our Monday 16th District Town Hall, and for joining us this evening. We have meetings every fourth Wednesday of the month, and our next meeting is Wednesday, April 28th at 6 p.m. Gracias por acompañarnos hoy en esta noche en las juntas que tenemos cada mes. Cada cuarto jueves, miércoles del mes tenemos estas juntas a las 6 de la noche. El próximo va a ser el 28 de abril. And there goes my background. All right.
The whole thing's gone.
That's okay. So you come out on YouTube. I know it will come on YouTube, but that's fine. That's okay. All right. This month we've been working very hard in making sure that the providers in my district have the vaccines available for our constituents, our community. We will be announcing an additional two locations for vaccines in Summit and Stone Park. So stay tuned and find more information about those vaccination locations. Este mes hemos trabajado mucho para que consiga las vacunas a nuestro distrito, pero alerta, vamos a tener 2 localizaciones de vacunas en Summit y en Stone Park. Por eso ponga atención en mi página para la información. 2 important dates. The deadlines for emergency rental and utility assistance is April 2nd, which is right around the corner. Okay, for more information, please look at www.cookcountyil.gov/recovery. Un dato muy importante para que les ayuden con la emergencia renta y calefacciones. El último día para aplicar es el 2 de abril, que ya está cerquita. Por favor, busquen en el website de www.cookcountyil.gov la línea Recovery, ROCOVERY. But today is the last day of March, and March is International Women's Month. In my office, every day is Women's Month because my entire staff is women. So, hoy es el último día de marzo y el último día del mes de la mujer internacional, pero como dije en inglés, en mi oficina todos los días es el día de la mujer porque todo mi staff son mujeres. It is important at this time to recognize the contributions that women have not only done for our families and friends, but acknowledge the impact that women have done in our communities all around, and that's what we celebrate International Women's Month in March. I am very happy to showcase several amazing women, which I've been pleased to introduce. Es importante reconocer a la mujer que ha contribuido muchísimo en nuestra comunidad, no solamente en las familias, en los amigos, pero en nuestra comunidad, lo que las mujeres han contribuido en avanzar nuestra comunidad, y este mes me da, celebrando el último día del Día de la Mujer, es un placer presumir a unas mujeres muy, muy asombrosas que han hecho muchísimo en nuestra comunidad. Michaela, can you introduce our first guest today?
Yeah, thank you so much, Commissioner. I'm Michaela Blaze. I'm the Chief of Staff in Cook County Commissioner Frank Aguilar's office. We have an amazing panel today. Today, we are honored to have Democratic Committeewoman Blanca Vargas. We also have the executive director of Paso, Marièn Casillas Pabellòn. We also have the 16th District Cook County Commission on Women representative, Claudia Ayala, who hails from Berwyn. And we have the program manager of Erie House, Elva Serna. So we have an amazing panel of spectacular women. And so if anybody has any questions or anything for our panelists, please drop it into the chat and we'll get to the questions at the end. But first, we have our first guest is Democratic Party Committeewoman Blanca Vargas. She's a longtime Cicero resident, a community activist, and Blanca Vargas has dedicated over 50 years to serving her community. She founded LULAC, the League of United Latin American Citizens, in 1969 and currently serves as a board member. Blanca continues to serve her community as the Cicero Township Democratic Committeewoman, but you will find her everywhere. Anytime there's a problem, anytime you need something, Blanca is a phone call away. She is an amazing resource, and we're so glad to have her with us. Frank, do you want to do the translation?
In Spanish. Very good. Thank you, Michaela. La primera, tenemos 4 mujeres que son mis invitadas de hoy. La primera es la presidenta del Partido Demócrata de Cicero, Blanca Vargas. Bienvenida. La otra es el representante de la Comisión de Condado de Cook de las Mujeres, la representante Claudia Ayala. La gerenta del programa de Erie House, Elva Serna, y la ejecutiva directora de Paso, Marièn Casillas Pabellòn. Pueden poner sus preguntas y sus comentarios durante la presentación. Nuestra primera invitada, ¿quién no conoce a Blanca Vargas, la presidenta del Partido Demócrata de Cicero? Blanca ha sido una residente y activista en nuestra comunidad. Blanca se ha dedicado más de 50 años como activista y organizada con la comunidad en nuestro pueblo. Ella fue fundadora de LULAC Cicero y también está en la mesa directiva de LULAC y ha servido como mesa directiva por varios años y también en Cicero. Blanca, gracias por venir. ¿Quién no conoce a Blanca Vargas? Porque todo el mundo te conoce, Blanca, y gracias por estar con nosotros.
Gracias. Bueno, en primer lugar, en español le quiero dejar saber a todas las mujeres del condado de Cook, felicidades, porque son unas mujeres valientes, guerreras y que siempre no solamente sirven a la comunidad, sino que también a su familia, desde la mañana hasta la medianoche. ¿Quién no es una gran mujer? Aquella mujer de ama de casa. Ahora, en inglés, quiero dejarles saber que les doy las gracias a ustedes, no solamente al comisionado Aguilar, sino que también a Michelle, que también ha trabajado arduamente en la comunidad. Also, I just wanted to thank and congratulate all the women that live in the Condado de Cook or in the Cook County for being an inspiration to other women because they work 24 hours a day, not only from 6 to 12, but 6 to midnight. So, in other words, all the women they deserve to be congratulated for all the work they've been doing 24 hours a day. And now I just wanted to let you know that I am very proud to be on the board of directors for LULAC. This is an organization that was established nationwide since 1929, and here in Illinois in 1956, and in Cicero in 1969. Now we work diligently with our community and especially to help our youth to get scholarships. And I am very proud to be part of it. And also, I was invited by President Fox once upon a time in 2004 to be part of the Women's Commission. I was part of the EDHA committee with Mujeres Latinas in Chicago. And also, the first commission in LULAC in Houston, Texas. So far, we've been working with women throughout our life in order for us to let you know that women count. Women are ready to go into politics, and in fact, most of them are already in politics. And I am glad I have been instrumental in helping many women to get in the judge. It's a judge in the Condado de Cook, the Cook County Circuit Court. So it is very important to have more Latina judges and more African American judges, Asian American judges. So we are making a difference. And of course, our senator, Ms. Villanueva, Selena Villanueva, is the senator, in our district and also in the Chicago area.
Absolutely.
So I can go on and on and on, but it is very important for us to let you know that actually we need to help more women, and especially senior citizens. Senior citizens, that are women that also devoted their time for their children and their family, and they count, and they also are very instrumental in giving us their knowledge and to continue in politics, continue in our community, help our community when they need food pantries. It's very important to help our community to make sure that they do get food in our community. Very, very important. Also, the masks, thank you very much for individuals that have helped our organization to make sure that we do have not only the pantry food, but also the masks. It's very important to have all these particular mascarillas in our community. It's very, very important. So if you have any other questions, I'll be glad to address it afterwards, because I can go on and, so unless, how long do I have?
Committeewoman, I just want to say I co-sign everything you said. When I was first getting into politics, I got to see you in action, working on a campaign, knocking doors, making phone calls, sharing information and knowledge with me. You were always friendly. You always took my call, even though you didn't know who I was. And I've really come to value your mentorship as I've progressed through politics. So what you're saying right now is absolutely true. I know that how hard you work at helping people get involved with politics. Do you think is there a particular challenge getting women to get involved with politics?
Yes, it is, especially as a Cook County committeewoman. I was the first Latina to get elected in the Cook County. So then for committee person, I know that we had Iris Martinez to be our Central Democratic committeewoman in Chicago. So now it's time for us to elect more committee women throughout the Cook County. So that's very, very important.
Committeewoman, do you want to just say that in Spanish for the listeners who
es
are
muy
Spanish?
Importante que nuestra comunidad se entere de que sí tenemos fuerza para llegar a elegir más committee women en el condado de Cook. Es muy importante que también tengamos más representación en otros distritos del condado de Cook. Sé que hemos tenido nuestra committee woman in Chicago, Iris Martinez. Now she's our clerk in the Cook County. She has really moved up. So she's a great example for the rest of the women that we can do it. We are going to be able to make it successful elected officials, not only in Chicago or District of Cicero, but also the rest of the townships that are part of the Condado de Cook.
Thank you.
It's very, very important to give support to more women to get elected.
Thank you, Blanca. You're definitely an inspiration, not just for women, but for everybody, especially our youth. Gracias, Blanca. Una inspiración para todos nosotros aquí en nuestra comunidad. Again, who doesn't know Blanca Vargas? ¿Quién no conoce a Blanca Vargas? Se activa, siempre te veo repartiendo comida, ayudando a los jóvenes. Nunca paras, Blanca. This young lady, I mean, she's always giving out food, helping our youth. It just doesn't stop. And she's like a tornado. So, it's a pleasure knowing you, Blanca. Un placer conocerte por muchos años. Y gracias por estar aquí con nosotros.
Igualmente, I'm very proud of you, Commissioner Aguilar, that you've been doing a terrific job. And I can see that you've been going to other townships. So hopefully we are going to follow your steps and have more women in that area too.
Oh, I'm trying to keep up with you, Blanca. You're hard to catch up to. So,
but I don't have a motorcycle. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'll get a motorcycle.
All right, we'll go for a ride.
Yes.
Thank you, Michaela. I'm going to choose our next guest.
Wonderful. Okay, so our next guest is the 16th District Cook County Commission on Women Representative Claudia Ayala. Claudia is a published author. She's young. She's a published author, award-winning community organizer who immigrated from the U.S. To the U.S. from Mexico City, and she's also the founder of the Gold Diggers Network, which I want to learn a little bit about. They're a group of women self-defining their identity. I love how that sounds. And in 2018, she launched her own political strategy company, CEA Consulting, to increase representation of Latina female candidates in public office. I'm so glad to have you here, Claudia. It's so good to see you.
Thank you so much. Thank
Very
you.
good. Let me do in Spanish, Claudia. En español.
The commissioner's going to do it in Spanish, yeah.
Okay, gracias por estar aquí con nosotros, Claudia. Nuestra próxima invitada es Claudia Ayala, representante del Distrito 16 de la Comisión de Mujeres. Claudia es autora, publicó, ha ganado premios en publicación, en organizar de varios temas. Emigró de México, la Ciudad de México, y Claudia fundó un grupo que se llama Gold Diggers, que es I hope I can translate this effectively, escarbando de metas, un network, un grupo de mujeres para que se definen su identidad. En 2018, inició su propia estrategia política en una compañía de CEA, un consultante para incrementar más representación latina en gobierno y las mujeres que se piensan lanzarse para puestos públicos. Ahorita está trabajando para el pueblo de Berwyn, para el alcalde Bobby Lavero, en su oficina. Gracias, Claudia, por estar aquí. And I know how I know why you're very active. You have a great mentor, which is your mom, Maru. Pleasure working with us. So I know where you get it from. Su mamá, Maru, muy activa, y ahí pues refleja mucho a su hija de inspiración, que es su mamá en nuestra comunidad. Gracias, Claudia, por estar con nosotros.
Thank you, Commissioner. Gracias por esta introducción. Thank you to Michela, and I'm very honored. Tengo mucho agradecimiento to be here with you, talk a little bit about the Gold Diggers Club, my new role with the Women's Commission and the Commission on Women's Issues, alongside with many incredible commissioners under the guidance of Tony Pretwinkle. And I also want to give a huge thank you to Mayor Lavero and our staff, which is the City Administrator Ruth Ciaba Green, and also my colleague Virginia, who, just like Michela, every day is Women's Day at our administration, and it's something that is very important to me to work with women. So yeah, and again, I'm honored to be here with Committeewoman from Cicero, Ms. Blanca, whom I've known for a long time. Frank is absolutely right. There is not a single person that's been out on the field that doesn't know Blanca. And I can say the exact same thing about Elva. And of course, looking forward to also collaborating with Paso's interim director, Marièn. And so, yeah, so one of the biggest questions or the biggest gaps, as you identified, is how do we support and how do we effectively support women? But the matter of fact is that I think that when we say, what kind of support do women need? ¿Qué tipo de apoyo se necesita de la mujer para darle las ganas de correr por cualquier tipo de posición política, or what will make them, run for office? And it really starts, and that's the whole premises about Gold Diggers, inside of the home, because what holds women back, in my experience, and I have been active for over 12 years in the political scene, both as a campaigner, as a canvasser, as a strategist, and as a social media content director, is that women don't feel confident. They always start to say, am I ready? What do I need? Is it too soon? And let me tell you something that I've learned. Men don't have that. They're always confident. It doesn't matter where they're ready or not. If they believe in themselves, they're going to go for it. And women always second guess themselves. They want to make sure everything's perfect. If I run for office, what will happen to my family? With men, that's not necessarily a challenge, because the woman takes care of the children. The man is the go-getter. The man is the winner. The man is the one who represents the household. When in fact, we know that in Latino households, that is not the case. We may lead you to think that you're in charge, but most definitely women have absolutely all the tools to get things going. And we see it right here in the office of Commissioner Aguilar. I see it everywhere, because this year, which was my first year starting with the city of Berwyn as an administrative manager, I have worked with so many staff, and I want to say, and I'm not kidding, out of the 10 people I speak to, 9 are women. So we are already propelling politics. We are already ready. We are already being embraced. I mean, we hear it all the time. El futuro es mujer. The future is female. So ladies, the time is now. There's no more wait, and there's no more second guessing yourself. Confidence. Confidence is what's necessary. And no one can give you confidence except your mama, your daddy, and the people that raised you, which is why it's so important for our elected officials to give platforms for women to prioritize and voice. And that's exactly what the Women's Commission does for women. It gives you the ability for goal-getters and goal diggers like Blanca, like Elva, like Marièn to come together and, utilizing our network, say, what more do we need to put on the table to make sure that our voices are heard? So I think that's already happening. And my goal is, and I'll say it again in Spanish, that with the Gold Diggers Club, this network is of women that are already saying, I'm ready. So it's I'm ready, let's go. And so a lot of that does have to do with preparation. You know, when we had the very last elections, there was a huge, a lot of women that came out of the city of Berwyn that wanted to run. And one of the biggest things that I heard was, am I ready? What do I do? I've never done this before. But how many times as women do we face that on a daily? We've never done it before. And guess what? We get it done. And I think that, you know, I come across so many males that have run once, twice, 3 times. Nothing stops them, not even losing 3, 4, 5 times. So I feel that we also have to understand that, you know, if we don't get elected the first time, if we don't make it the first time, it doesn't matter. You keep on going, you keep on learning, and there's no losses, only lessons. So lo que le estaba tratando de comunicar es de que en realidad el tiempo de la mujer ya está aquí. Ya tenemos nosotros muchas casas que en realidad la mujer es la persona que está haciendo las decisiones, es la persona que está diciendo dónde va a ir el dinero, cómo es el futuro, mandando a sus hijos al colegio para que ellos sean activos y voten. So, yo también pienso que muchas personas creen que la mujer latina o los hispanos no están involucrados políticamente, y hay muchas razones porque eso es la realidad, pero sí tenemos hijos. La educación es muy importante, los estamos mandando al colegio, se están graduando, y gracias a todos los legisladores y todas las personas que están trabajando para abogar para las familias hispanas, van a tener una oportunidad para también ser ciudadanos y tener el gran privilegio de votar. Muchas de nuestras jóvenes, incluyendo yo, tengo mi propia hija que está entrando a la secundaria, tiene como meta regresar, ayudar a la familia y también continuar a representar su casa. Si podemos tomar esos valores que ya tienen nuestros hijos y simplemente decirles, ustedes también tienen la oportunidad para entrar al partido político y darles esos consejos que no solamente tienen que estar en servicios, sino también pueden ser líderes, yo pienso que todo puede cambiar y que lo estamos viendo el cambio ahorita.
I think I just want to underscore what you're saying. I feel like it's true that, especially out the gate, sometimes women are a little bit more nervous about getting out there. But I think you and the Committeewoman Vargas are demonstrating the fact that if there are people that really want to get involved with politics, there are people that are there to receive you, to hold you in their arms, to carry you over the finish line. And I think that's what's so important. I think we should also just make sure that we're clear that gold diggers is GOAL,
Yes.
not gold diggers.
Yes. And I just wanted to mention the whole premises that you mentioned, the gold diggers. That's exactly what I'm trying to establish. That we have to redefine the way that we're viewed within ourselves and exterior. And when you think of a gold digger, right? Like that terminology is utilized to, you know, kind of identify a woman. Oh, look, she's a gold digger. She's always trying to get money, get ahead. Yes. And what is wrong with that? If somebody is using those venues, then we have to look at the whole macro setting of saying, why does that woman feel that is the only way to get ahead? So it's forcing not just ourselves to say, be okay with wanting things and wanting power, be okay, be respected, be embraced, but also for both men and women that have that negative connotation of what an ambitious female leader looks like, to start to say, hey, maybe I got it all wrong. And maybe they do.
Absolutely. And we're gonna continue following your lead. We're gonna look forward to updates from you on our on what's going on with the Cook County Women's Commission. I know you've got some projects coming up. We're gonna share any information you send our way, and we're gonna make sure that people know that, and particularly women know that there is a place where if they are interested in making a difference in their community, that there is a group of people that are ready and willing to hold them in their arms and carry them, like I said, carry them over the finish line.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. And I look forward to working with you and Mayor Lavero in advancing the women's agenda in government. And I'm glad to have you, be part of the Cook County Commission for Women. Okay, gracias a Claudia. Me gustado de trabajar contigo y el alcalde Bobby Lavero para avanzar en la posición de la mujer en la política, en el gobierno. Okay, so again, thank you for being with us. Our next guest.
Our next guest is the program manager of Erie House, Elva Serna. Elva Serna has over 20 years of human capital empowerment experience. And listen, our guests are illustrious. They've been at this for a while in leadership development fields. Elva has a background in educational psychology and has completed numerous advanced computer application and intensive leadership development certifications. She joined Erie House as a computer literacy instructor in January of 2000. And since then, she has worn several different hats there. She was a community engagement specialist. And then she was promoted to program manager and now oversees the health and leadership department. She mentors with passion. You're going to really enjoy talking with her. She's guiding her clients, volunteers, and employees to effectively strengthen and elevate their leadership vision to all new heights. I am so pleased to welcome Elva Serna to the show today.
And again, Elva, in español, Elva, but I want to thank you for for helping my district in the census June earlier this year, making sure that everybody gets counted, especially our immigrant population. So again, thank you for your efforts and your support in that during those times. Le quiero dar las gracias a Elva Serena por asistirme durante el census, muy importante de que todos se cuentan, especialmente nuestros emigrantes, porque es importante que todos se cuenten. Elva Serna tiene más de 20 años de experiencia de poder capital humano, su liderazgo en desarrollo. Elva tiene una sabiduría en psicología educacional, ha completado muchísimos avances certificados en computación, aplicaciones, en el desarrollo de liderazgo. Ella empezó en Erie Neighborhood House, el equipo de computación. Fue maestra en ese tema en enero de 2000. En 2001 ascendió como tecnóloga en carreras, coordinadora en esa posición. Después, su rol como desarrollar especialista. En abril 2017, en febrero 2019, la ascendieron como gerente de programas y ella ve el desarrollo de liderazgo y salud. Ella es pasionalmente motivar a sus clientes, a sus voluntarios, a sus empleados, dándoles fuerzas eficaz para que se eleven a otro nivel de liderazgo, en otros niveles de ascender positivamente. Más de 20 años en esa profesión, experiencia, ella continua de escalar a alta calidad de los programas de desarrollo e implementar, y siempre pone nuestra comunidad en prioridad. Gracias, Elva, por estar con nosotros.
Gracias por la invitación. Thank you for the invitation. Hoy yo quiero empezar por reconocer que todos los días es Día de la Mujer. No solamente un mes. Nosotras somos mamás, esposas, hijas, compañeras, todos los días, 24 horas al día, 7 días a la semana. Y más que a las personas que tienen un título universitario, me quiero enfocar en todas esas amas de casa, en todas esas personas que están creando la base en nuestra sociedad, apoyando a sus hijos, a sus hijas, empoderándolas y siendo un ejemplo para ellas y buscando mejores maneras de crecer y de desarrollarnos. So I want to embrace and thank and acknowledge all the women, all the mothers, the sisters. Thank you for all your hard work in our community. Yo he trabajado por muchos años en la comunidad. Yo me enfoco con la comunidad latina, primera generación, y parte de mi trabajo, no nada más en Erie House, pero como parte de la mesa directiva de la Colaborativa de Trabajadores de Chicago, es empoderar mujeres. Tenemos grupos de mujeres con las que trabajamos, empoderamos, porque es verdad que necesitamos servicios sociales, pero es más importante la acción social, porque necesitamos empoderar a nuestras mujeres y luchar por hacer un cambio en nuestras comunidades, en nuestras escuelas, en todos los niveles socioeconómicos. Y la única manera de lograr esto es empoderando a las mujeres y a nuestras hijas. Si empoderamos, yo siempre he dicho, si empoderamos a una mujer, vamos a empoderar una familia entera y vamos a empoderar por generaciones. Así es que hay que trabajar con la unidad. Unidas somos poderosas, somos muy fuertes. Divididas y compitiendo, no llegamos a ningún lugar. Nosotras las mujeres no competimos con otras mujeres, nos tenemos que apoyar y tenemos que estar solidarias las unas con la otra. So there is no need to compete. We are powerful together and we need to be the example to our families, to our girls. As a mother of girls, como madre de niñas, para mí es muy importante que mis hijas vean un ejemplo a seguir y que entiendan que las mujeres no compiten con otras mujeres. Tenemos que trabajar unidas para hacer un cambio en nuestra comunidad. Así es que nuevamente felicidades a todas las mujeres, no nada más hoy, todos los días del año, todos los días, 24 horas al día, 7 días a la semana, somos madres, amigas y vecinas. Una pregunta que me hicieron es que ¿qué consejo o advice le daría a nuestras líderes jóvenes? El mismo de siempre es: unidas somos poderosas. United we are powerful. There is no need to compete. Nosotras no tenemos necesidad de competir porque lo más importante es trabajar unidas por la comunidad.
I think that's a major theme. Now that we're taught, you're our third guest so far, and I think everybody's saying that is that there's real opportunities. If you want to get involved, there are plenty of people here that will walk you through it and make sure that you feel welcome. I know at our even at our office, our district office, we've got toys set up and coloring books and so forth, so that we want to make sure that even there's no women who can't get involved because they have childcare issues. We want to make sure that everybody feels welcome, that everybody knows that they have a place, and that everybody really has a voice. And I know that's important to you too.
Yes, and I think that it's very important to provide the tools. The tools our community needs. And if we provide the tools, then we will be having more, we will be impacting more our community. Si proveemos las herramientas que nuestra gente necesita en la comunidad, vamos a ser muchísimo más poderosos y vamos a poder tener mejores comunidades y mejor representación a todos los niveles. Yo siempre les digo a mis hijas que ellas pueden ser la próxima presidenta, doctora, abogada, juez. El cielo es el límite.
That's right.
Pero se lo tienen que creer y no lo tenemos que creer. Somos poderosas cuando trabajamos y cuando somos un ejemplo en nuestra comunidad. Y trabajamos por lo que realmente importa y lo hacemos de corazón sin estar esperando algo a cambio.
I can see how you make an excellent mentor. I'm already feeling inspired, and we've just been talking for a couple of minutes.
Thank you.
Yes, no, thank you so much for joining us. I think we're gonna go on to our next guest, but then we'll bring you back for a few questions at the end. Commissioner, did you have any questions now?
No, gracias, Elva, por acompañarnos, y otras gracias por tu liderazgo y poner nuestra comunidad primero, más que tu punto y tu pasando a la mujer latina.
No, gracias por la invitación. Para mí, lo que más me apasiona es trabajar con mi comunidad y por mi comunidad. Gracias por la invitación.
Our next guest.
All right. Last but not least, our next guest is the Executive Director of Paso, Marièn Casillas Pabellòn. Marièn joined Paso West Suburban Action Project in May of 2020, following an impressive background in community and labor organizing and social justice work, near to my heart. Marièn is also the author, which I didn't know until we got your bio, Marièn. The author of the Worker Center Handbook, a practical guide to starting and building a new labor movement. A native of Puerto Rico and current Chicago resident, she has held leadership positions at Interfaith Workers Justice, New Labor, and the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. And she's one of the first people who welcomed us to the district when we got here and when I took the job. So she's very close to my heart. And Frank has to translate, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for everything. Always. We'll start even with a thank you, Marièn. It's so good to see you again.
Gracias. Okay, Marièn, gracias por estar con nosotros. Marièn es la directora ejecutiva de Paso. Ella empezó con Paso el mayo 2020, pero tiene una trayectoria muy impresionante en labores comunitarios, organizadora de obreros y de justicia social, trabajos de justicia social. Ella es autora. Eso lo supe cuando te conocí. Fui a Melrose Park y me sacaste de onda que también eres autora como Claudia, las dos. El libro que escribiste es una guía para el trabajador y una guía de asuntos prácticos para empezar el nuevo movimiento obrero. Nativa de Puerto Rico, ahorita reside en Chicago y ha tenido varias posiciones en liderazgo como Interfaith Justicia de Trabajadores y también con los del sindicato de los Teamsters. Bienvenida, Marièn, a este programa.
Gracias, es un placer estar aquí. It's an honor to be here with all of you. I guess I just share what we do at Paso a little bit. Creo que lo que voy directo ahí, compartimos lo que hago un poquito, lo que hacemos acá en Paso. So, Paso es una organización que está buscando siempre crear una comunidad en la que sus residentes tengan iguales oportunidades, que tengan un acceso a estas oportunidades que les permita realmente tener una vida plena y digna sin importar su estatus migratorio. Buscamos hacer esto a través de desarrollar el liderazgo de los miembros de la comunidad, porque usted es el que está experimentando lo que está pasando. Si usted no está involucrado en el proceso de resolver todo este enredo que a veces nos rodea, entonces realmente las soluciones no van a ser aplicables a usted, ¿verdad? Porque usted es el que sabe, usted es el experto en eso. Y queremos de nuevo crear oportunidades y que podamos utilizar nuestro poder colectivo para hacer cambios. So basically, Paso is an organization that is seeking to build a community where its residents and members of the community have equal access to have a fulfilled and dignified life, and where their rights are respected regardless of their immigration status. We are also looking to develop the leadership of communities of the migrant community so they can have a space to organize, create opportunities, and use their own collective power. So the idea is that those that are mostly affected by the situations and the challenges and the issues are the ones that really are taking action to change their situation, at the same time impact their communities. And you're the experts, right? If you're already in the community, you know what things you need. So we need to, as a community in general, we need to trust each other to build that power and make change. And we are doing that here in Paso. Estamos haciendo esto en Paso por los últimos 10 años. We have been doing this for the last 10 years. And we are also in this quest to make sure that every single person that is part of our community has the same chance to develop themselves and find their place. So queremos hacer un proceso en el cual todos los miembros de la comunidad tengan un espacio para integrarse y hacer sus cambios. A veces nos dicen, ay, ¿cuál es el lugar de la mujer? El lugar de la mujer es en la cocina. Sometimes people tell us a woman's place is in the kitchen. And I want to tell you, no, papi. No, mijo. No. That is impossible. A woman's place is everywhere. Everywhere is our place. El lugar de la mujer realmente es en todas partes. We bring a specific point of view. Traemos un punto de vista específico. And also, we are able to troubleshoot in the moment. Y también podemos resolver problemas en el momento. Antes de que yo pudiera hablar con ustedes, ¿verdad? Before I was able to take the time to talk to you, aquí Michaela y el comisionado y Cecilia me dijeron que si podía hablar un poquito de por qué necesitamos a la mujer en la lucha por la justicia laboral. So before I join you, Michaela, the commissioner, and Cecilia were like in secret whispering in my ear telling me, what is it? Why are women important to the fight for labor justice? Y tengo un secreto, and I have a secret for you. So the origin of the International Day of Women's Day actually comes from the labor struggle, right? It it's not that it was the first time that women were fighting for their rights, but it was the first time where people were fighting to have better wages. They were fighting to work less hours a day. They were working 14 to 18, 16 hours a day. And the women were fighting to have 10-hour days of work. They wanted to stop the labor, child labor. And also they were fighting to have more training and to have the right to vote. So la lucha por los derechos, realmente como el Día de la Internacional de la Mujer viene, no es solo así como pocos y ya salió. Realmente como viene este día es como el resultado de la lucha laboral de mujeres en la industria textil, luchando por mejoras salariales, por reducción de horas de trabajo, y también estaban luchando porque no querían que siguiera bien, que continuara el trabajo infantil. También estaban luchando porque hubiera más entrenamientos para ellas y el derecho al voto. So when we're thinking about our role as working women, es cuando pensamos en nuestro rol como mujeres trabajadoras, we are really thinking about our role as part of this whole engine that moves our society. Realmente estamos pensando que realmente que la mujer es el motor que realmente está moviendo la economía y nuestra sociedad. We really need to make sure that we learn that as part of one of those fights for better working rights, we can find that the triangle shirtwaist tragedy, where a lot of women that were working in the textile industry actually passed away because they were trapped in the factory. And so the factory caught fire, and a lot of them passed. Muchos el otro factor que contribuye al desarrollo del Día de la Mujer es la tragedia del Triángulo de Shirtwaist que pasó en Nueva York, en donde las mujeres que estaban trabajando en la industria textil o de la aguja realmente murieron calcinadas dentro de la factoría. Algunas saltaron de la factoría en llamas y fallecieron. As a result of that, women continue organizing. Las mujeres se continuaron organizando después de eso. And that's why we have work OSHA rights, safe and health rights at work. Es una de las razones por las cuales tenemos leyes de salud y seguridad en el trabajo. That's one of the reasons that we continue fighting for equal pay. Es una de las razones por las que seguimos luchando por un pago igual. But we are also fighting today to be owners of our own destiny and our own development and the development of others. Pero también seguimos luchando hoy por nuestro propio desarrollo y el desarrollo de nuestras compañeras. So
it's a huge fight. It's
a huge fight.
And I know how passionate you are about it. But I think I think we should bring back the rest of the guests, and we can all talk about this. I think this is such a great conversation. And your passion is palpable. I can feel how important this is to you. Thank you. I want to say thank you to all of you. So I'm going to just run through the Facebook, and I just want to share with you some of the love that you guys are getting on Facebook. So we have Mary Beth Arenella, she's saying hello. Jacqueline Pereda. We have Carmen Luz Rivera. Like, the women are showing up for you guys. Jacqueline Pereda is saying hey. Maria Eugenia Ayala. Hey, Claudia, you got your family all? They're all packing the seats.
That's
here.
my mama. Hi, mama.
That's awesome. So there's tons of love. We're still getting hearts and likes and so forth. So I just want you all to know that everyone's paying attention. But I want to throw one more. Sorry, Commissioner.
No, I like to, being Hollywood, I want to call this this Facebook Live Blessed Among Women, so.
I love it.
Siendo Semana Santa, le voy a llamar a este Facebook Live Bendito entre las mujeres.
I love it. I have a question for Committeewoman Vargas. I know you've been in the game for a long time. I want to know what it was like when you first got started. I see all these amazing women, and I know some of you all know each other. Mm-hmm. I know we've all operated in other spaces. I know when we get to meetings and so forth, there are more women than there were before. When you started out, were you like the only woman in the room? What was the feeling when you started?
I'm glad that you started with that question, because I was just thinking about a few minutes ago that women networking together was started by a group of women from all different nationalities. I'm talking about early 80s with Robin Kelly, now our congresswoman, and now in Springfield.
So no kidding.
So, she's a very good friend of mine. I can consider that, because we started since then. And then also we had many other women, Asian American, Native American, Hispanic, there's several nationalities. And that's why it was called Women Networking Together. And from there, many women then inspired me to be active, to travel, not only in Chicago, but throughout the state of Illinois, since I used to work with the Department of Human Rights, recruiting women and persons with disabilities to work for state government. And then from there, the travel that I made. Also, I became interested in running for office, which was as a national delegate to the Democratic Convention for Jimmy Carter back in the 1980s. So that really gave me some incentive of being involved in politics. I didn't finish there, because then I went over and ran for the National Democratic Committee, but in 2004. So since then, I decided to run as a committee woman. And thanks to President Dominic, now that he sees me working for the past 4 years after I retired from state government, he said, "You're such a worker, I want you to come and work for me." So now, not only me, but also Maru Ayala, which is Claudia's mom. So now we're working together for President Dominic as Hispanic liaisons to his office to help our community in Cicero.
It's the 16th district coming together. And maybe, Claudia, you could tell us a little bit about, so my kids are always around when I'm having political conversations, when I'm organizing, they make signs for me. Sometimes they hate it. Sometimes they won't participate. Sometimes they're like, "Mom, get off the phone already." What was it like growing up with a mom who was involved in politics? And are they going to end up hating me, I guess, is the question.
Well, it's interesting when Blanca mentions when you were talking about Robin Kelly and all that, I was listening, because it's almost like cycles, right? Every new generation, and then the old generation, and it's like cycles. And we really are our mother's daughters. And I love this quote that a great friend of mine has on her Facebook, where it says, "Sometimes when I speak, I hear my mother." And so I mentioned that because growing up, my mother has always been very active, and culture is a religion to us. Heritage, culture, roots. I know that Marièn was just talking about it. That's everything. That's what binds us. And so when you're like mentioning before we got on, like, hey, the new norm is like dogs running around. My kid just ran in and out of her room. And like, what's the difference? What is that like? And I think that now it's out in the open, right? It's like the curtains have been opened, and I think what we can expect, like You know, I have my son who's 18 years old. Elva met him while we were working at the census, is we bring our families into it. And they're not going to hate you because they're going to know that just like I knew that my mother worked day and night to be able to send me to college, to be able to have this privilege that I have right now. My mother worked 24 hours a day, still works to this day, is not retired, and is still working her butt off on a daily. So even though there was a time where I was like, oh my God, I can't stand my mom. You know, she's like always trying to correct me, always talking to me about my public, you know, how to be in public. Why can't I just be myself? Why can't I started to understand that what my mom was doing was preparing me for the world, preparing me for the world to tell me, you are not enough. You are not polished. You are not so many things. And by me watching her go up against that grain with her accent, because having an accent does not make you any less smart. Hello, let's just make a public announcement. It's just having a beautiful accent. And being, you know, 5 foot tall, because my mother is a little bitty thing, and still having that confidence that I don't know where she got from, because I think we all can agree that we come from generations where we haven't always been supported to be outspoken. So I don't know where she got that from, because we really come from a very, you know, Catholic, very, you know, traditional household. And then I became, you know, the radical activist. My mom is trying to, hey, calmada, todo tranquilo.
She created a monster.
Es algo que las mamás hispanas a veces dicen como consejo. Mira, mija, pórtate bien, calladita te ves más bonita. No causes estos problemas. Pero de ahí tenemos que aprender, y como siempre, yo siempre vi a mi mamá y dije, ¿por qué ella es así? ¿Por qué habla eso? ¿Por qué me da estos consejos? Y más que nada, darme cuenta que no tenía miedo, aunque no sabía qué iba a pasar. So I think that's, I always talk to my kids, and I always tell my family, I did not get an inheritance. I wasn't passed down, you know, wealth or buildings, but I was passed down an incredible work ethic, okay? I will not stop. I know how to pick myself up, you know, from the ground, unlimited amount of times, because that's what we need to do. And I think, Michelle, as long as you show your kids that you are doing everything without fear in your heart, but with love and good intentions, you know, there's nothing that can go wrong.
I think that's awesome. Thank you. We're approaching the 7 o'clock hour, and I know we told you we weren't going to keep you that long, but real quick, Elva, it seems like you've got a background in educational psychology. Then you were doing this job, that job. You have different development certifications. Are you one that would tell people to continue going back to school or to continue educating yourself?
The only thing that I can say is that knowledge is power. El conocimiento es poder. It's the only thing that I can say. If you need to go back to school, go back to school. If you need to learn to cook, to clean, whatever you need to do, go back to school if you need it. Again, knowledge is power. El conocimiento es poder. You are never too old to go back to school and to learn.
I think this has been an amazing conversation. I know we've already run over time. Commissioner, did you have any other questions or final thoughts?
Yeah, I'd just like to take the time out to thank you, Michaela, my Chief of Staff, for putting this together. My Deputy Chief of Staff, Jillian De Leon, and my Director of Communications, Tanisha Woodson Shelby, and Cecilia Selena, my Community Director of Outreach. Again, thank you very much. And this is a time for women. I would like to see more women in leadership roles in corporate sector, in government, in nonprofit sector, and something I hold very dearly in the unions, in the labor sector, especially with the immigrant women. Again, I want to thank every one of you for being here. Otra en español, me gustaría ver más mujeres en en roles de liderazgo en corporaciones, en fundaciones, en gobierno, y algo que yo aprecio mucho es en el labor, los sindicatos. Again, I want to remind everybody that look, I got 2 more vaccination centers coming in Summit and in Stone Park. Gracias por acompañarnos. Join me again. Look at my again. We have every last Wednesday of the month. The next one is April 28th. El próximo Facebook Live va a ser el miércoles, el 28 de abril a las 6. Look at my Facebook page, Commissioner Frank Aguilar. Follow me on Instagram at Commissioner, a little line on the bottom, Aguilar, and Twitter at Commissioner FR2. Gracias again, everybody, and happy Easter y felices Pascuas.
Felices Pascuas to you.
Thank
too.
you, wonderful
you.
women.
Gracias por
Thank
la
you so
invitación.
much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Good night.